So this is lesson 21 in Algebra 1, and the name of this section is Product Rule for Exponents and Addition of Like Terms with Exponents. And you're familiar with exponents like that and like that and like that, because that just means that we're going to take 3 times itself, however many or however big the number is up there of the exponent. So that says we're going to take 3 times itself 5 times. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. And you can use your calculator for that. You can figure it out all by your little lonesome. But regardless, that's how you do that. Now, one of the things that we notice when we are multiplying numbers with exponents, so let's say that we have 2 to the 3rd power times 2 to the 5th power. Now, one of the things that's important is before you combine these with exponents, these base numbers have to be the same. If they were variables, x's or y's, they'd also have to be the same. But if they're numbers, they have to be the same. So what does that mean? That means we're taking our 2 times 2 times 2, and we're multiplying it by the 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So these 5 times these 3. Well, when we multiply all of this, how many 2's do we have? We have 8. So what happens is we have 2, and what we do with the exponents is we add them together, and that's where the 8 comes from. So 2 cubed plus 2 to the 5th is 2 to the 8th, which means we have 2 times 2 all the way 8 times. Alright, so that's what it means when you're adding or multiplying numbers with exponents. So let's look at some letters here with exponents. So what if we have x to the 5th times x to the 7th? Well, the same thing is true. Our base numbers have to be the same, or letters have to be the same. We have x, and then we add our exponents. We always add them, so that gives me x to the 12th. If I had p to the 5th times p to the 12th, I get p to the 5 plus 12, which is p to the 17. If I had x to the 5th times y to the 4th, I cannot combine those because my letters are not the same letters. In order to combine exponents in multiplication, the letters have to be the same as well. So sometimes we're going to get some, like in example number 1, where we have an x squared, y squared, x to the 5th, y cubed. Now that's okay. I can combine my x's because they're the same and my y's because they're the same, but I can't put them all together. So let's put them up at least in the right order. X squared, x to the 5th. I'm just putting my x's and y's together. Okay, now I'm going to add those and add those. So I get x to the 7th, y to the 5th. And that's as much as I can do with that. That's done. All right, let's look at 21.2 here. And in 21.2 we have x, get my pen working, x squared, y cubed, m to the 5th, x cubed, y squared. All right, so what can we combine here? We can combine my x's and get x to the 2 plus 3 is 5. I can then combine my y cubed and my y squared and get y to the 3 plus 2 is 5. And I have nothing to combine my m with, so my m just stays there all by itself. Okay, something else that is good to know is there's a definition when dealing with these exponents, and that definition is whenever you have a letter or a number with an exponent of 1, it equals that letter or number. You don't have to put the 1 on there. So x to the 1st means x. X to the 1st, y to the 1st means just x, y. You can just take the 1's off. So when I have something like x, y squared, x cubed, that means that when I have just an x, there's actually a 1 there. When I have just a y, there's actually a 1 there. So that when I combine these two, I get x to the 1 plus 3. And when I combine these, I get y to the 1 plus 2. So I get x to the 4th y cubed for my answer when I do that. Okay, so let's look at 21.4. 21.4 says that I have x, or m, cubed, p m x m squared x cubed p to the 5th. Alright, so what am I going to combine? That m with that m. So I'm just going to add up my exponents. Remember, that's a 1. So that gives me an m to the 6. So that's gone, and that's gone. Now I'm going to add my p here with my p here. So I have p to the 1st plus p to the 5th is p to the 6th. And then lastly I have an x here and an x cubed. So that's going to be x to the 1st plus x cubed, which is going to be 1 plus 3 is 4. And that is the simplified version of what I started out with. The second part of lesson 25 has to do with addition of like terms with exponents. Now we had talked about like terms being if we have this plus this plus this, these are considered like terms right here because the letters are the same and the exponents on the letters are the same. So remember, if there's no exponent, there's a 1. So they both had 1, so I can combine these two here to 3 x's and 1 x and get 4x, and then there's nothing here, so that's just going to be a y. I can't do anything with that. So when I have, again, some problems, like let's go ahead and look at exercise 21.5. Holy cow, it takes a lot to get rid of that. We have x squared y p to the 5th plus 2xy squared p to the 5th plus 3p to the 5th x squared y minus 7y squared x p to the 5th. Okay, so what we're going to look at is, well, first of all, let's determine how many terms I have here. So I have a set of letters here, separated by a plus sign, a set here, a set here, and a set here. So I have 4 different terms. And I'm going to see if I can combine any of them. So remember, in order to combine them, all the letters have to be the same. X, Y, P, X, Y, P, X, Y, P. Doesn't matter what order, X, Y, P. Then I have to look and make sure that each of the X's have 2's on them. See, that one has a 2 and that one doesn't, so I can't combine these. This one has a 2, but that one doesn't. So this one, at least the X's are the same. Then I look at the Y's. And I already decided that this is the only possible one because they both have x squareds. Let's see if y's. y1, there's one y there. P to the 5th, p to the 5th. So I can combine these two right here because not only are the letters the same, but the exponents on the letters are the same. So I have 1 xy, or x squared y p to the 5th, and I have 3 of those. So when I add 1 and 3, I get that. And I can cross those out because I'm done working with them and I don't want to get confused. Alright, let's look at these. This one has an x, that has an x. Y squared, p to the 5th, p to the 5th. So same letters, same exponents, I can combine them. So I have a 2 minus 7. Now remember, when you've got a subtraction here, if it's easier, you can write it as 2 plus negative 7. And then you take the difference between the two, because the signs are different. So it's a 5, and put the sign of the largest number on there. So minus 5, and then we just tag on our variables with their exponents. We don't have to add or do anything with those. All we're doing when we add and subtract like terms is add and subtract the numbers in front of the variables, the letters. We don't do anything with the letters. The only thing the letters are for is to let us know that this one can be combined with this one because they're the same letters and they have the same numbers on the letters, the same exponents. Alright, so let's jump up to, or jump down to, let's see, 21.6. We have 2m cubed xy squared p plus 3pxy squared m cubed minus 10xy squared m cubed p plus, golly, y x squared m cubed p. Alright, so let's first of all find out which ones have the same variables and the same letters on the variables. So what do we have here? We have an m cubed, an x, a y squared p. An m cubed, an x, a y squared p. So these two are the same, so let's put a line under those two. See if we have any more that are the same. X, y squared, m cubed, p. Okay, yeah, that's the same too. And let's look at the last one. X. Okay, that has a squared on it. None of the other ones do. So that means I can't combine this one at all. The ones that are underlined in green, I can combine. So let's do that in green. 2 plus 3. So I have 5 m cubed xy squared p. And then I have this one here that I haven't done anything with. That's a negative 10xy squared m cubed p. Alright, so I'm going to make that a positive and then that a negative, just like we've done in the past. And let's go ahead and put this on there. I have a tendency to forget if I don't keep following it along. So I change my minus sign to a plus and negative so that I can see my signs are different. So I'm going to take the difference between the two. Difference between the two is 5. Sign of the largest one is negative, and then I just tag my variables onto those. And then I don't forget this one. And I am done with 21.6. Alright, let's do one more, 21.7. 21.7, they just constantly try to make them just a little bit tougher as you get going here, just to add to the excitement here. 2x squared y plus 3yx squared plus x squared y squared minus x squared y minus 4x squared y squared. Alright, so let's look at like terms again with green. X squared y, x squared y, x squared y. And I have x squared y squared. Notice how I include the sign with it. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this. Let's do what's in green. These right here is going to give me 5x squared y. So those are done. And, oh, we still have this green one here. So minus 1x squared y. So that's going to give me 4x squared y. And that one will go away. Alright, now let's look at what we have in red. X squared y squared minus 4x squared y squared. So plus negative 4x squared y squared. Signs are different. We take the difference between 1 and this 4, and we get 3. Sign of the largest is negative x squared y squared. And we have 4x squared y that we have there. Alright, so a key thing when you're doing these to remember is you don't do anything with the variables, with the letters. You just drag them along. The only thing you add or subtract are the numbers. And that should make it easier. Alright, so that's lesson 21 in Algebra 1.